Hello, my name is Brittany D. I am a psychic medium and spiritual teacher. My divine purpose is to assist in the expansion of the collective consciousness and to help you become more connected with the divine. This is a space to remember all that you truly are and ignite the possibilities of your highest potential. Hello, hello, hello. And thank you for being present with me in this current now moment. Eek, so good. All right, so today I want to talk about synchronicities and just some tips that I have around synchronicities. I guess we'll start with what is a synchronicity. Synchronicity is, definition-wise, is a meaningful coincidence. I don't believe in coincidences anymore. I cannot anymore. There's no such fucking thing as a coincidence. I think that's just what we called it when you're in the Matrix, because they don't want you to think it's as powerful as it is. But synchronicities are meaningful coincidences. It's like there's something that there's no way that that's a coincidence. Like it's too connected. There's too many things that go into that having been presented to you. That's like, there's no fucking way this is just a coincidence. And then as you get used to experiencing like, whoa, what the fuck was that? Like, there's no way there's not when you first start to begin to experience synchronicities, it's almost like you're kind of like, what? Like, there's definitely a bigger force going on. And this is when you're not as connected to the universal force. And then as you begin to experience this over and over again, you begin to believe, okay, there's got to be something bigger than me, because there's no way that these experiences could keep happening by just me. And like in this like world experience, like there's just no way. And then, so then they begin to build. Then you start getting more than just odd events or people showing up at the right place or the right time. And then you start to get numbers and signs and symbols and different ways. Everyone, in my opinion, everyone has their own way of communicating, with the universe. And that's where your synchronicities will come through. So one of my big ones is angel numbers. My mom and I started doing angel numbers whenever I got my very first cell phone, whenever I was in third grade. She started doing this thing where at 111 or at 333 or 1111 or whatever it was, throughout the day, she would text me and say, 111, love you. And it just became this thing that her, my mom, and my brother did. And, or me, my mom, and my brother did. And, talking about myself in third person. And my mom and I both didn't know that those were angel numbers. She just started doing it. Like she just intuitively thought of like, oh, 111, that's funny. It's like all the same number. And then she thought of like, oh, I love my kids. And so she texted us, and then we started doing that for years, literally for like 10 years before I even found out that these 111s and 222s and 333s meant something, that they were called angel numbers. And so we still do it to this day, but it was just wild whenever I found angel numbers that I was like, holy fuck, like the universe has been communicating this to me like this for pretty much my entire life. I got my first phone in third grade. And well, I'm not sure if we could text at that time. We might have started doing it whenever I was in middle school. I think that there wasn't text at that time. I think that it was whenever we started texting specifically. So I think it was like 5th or 6th grade, but still like a long time, definitely a solid 10 years of us all doing that back and forth and having no fucking clue that it had like meaning behind it. So angel numbers are a huge, synchronicity, a huge way that the universe communicates with me. One of my dear, like my best friend and her husband, they are like very, very native. They're very connected with the earth. And so a lot of their signs come through animals, and feathers and stones or rocks or different pieces of nature that just show up. Like her husband was on a job with someone that was like, he wasn't really sure what the dynamic was going to be like. And then in the middle of the fucking day, in like a little like neighborhood, like in a city, a fox they're standing outside. A fox walks across the lawn. Like, what? Absolutely amazing. And then another example is like they see birds a lot, like birds, different hawks at different times. Or like I've seen a woodpecker when I was on a hike before. I mean, the nature things happen to me too, but not all the time. The angel numbers happen the most, I would say. And then, you know, like downloads and just wild synchronicities and, you know, seeing the same word over and over again or shit like that. But what I wanted to talk about, not only just explaining what synchronicities are for anyone that doesn't quite understand them yet, but if you're in the flow of receiving synchronicities and you get your confirmations and you know what you kind of communicate, whether it's angel numbers or animals or repeating. Like if you have some specific thing repeating, like an animal is a great one, or some kind of like word specifically. It could be like your hometown that keeps popping up and that's your synchronicity or whatever it may be. I know someone who has the number 37, like that's his thing. Like he always knows whenever 37 pops up, he's like in alignment, it's a good place. And so just things like that. I had this download when I was doing the Relax and Receive workshop, and I was like, holy fuck, this is gold. I was just like in the middle of talking and this came through. Huge tip, guys, with synchronicities. To expand synchronicities, to get more of them. I didn't even realize that I was doing this until this workshop. You have to have gratitude in that moment for the synchronicity, because in that moment, you are receiving a communication from your higher guidance, from higher realms. And that's a gift. To even think about it, there are still millions of people on this planet that don't even have any level of communication with higher guidance. They don't know what they're doing. They're kind of just bumbling around trying to figure it out. And we, a lot of us at least, if you're listening to my channel, if you're into what I'm into, you're probably receiving synchronicities. And we get to be guided. We get to know that, okay, this is the route to go and the decisions to make, instead of being totally just in the unknown and lost and unsure and unclear. We get those confirms of clarity and of guidance. And that's a fucking gift. And so my just deep level of gratitude in life has, like, I started doing that specifically with synchronicities. Like I recognized that I was being ungrateful for them. Like if I would see 1111, I'd be like, oh yeah, 1111, like almost like it's expected. No, that is such a gift. That is such a gift. And so then once I started putting the energy of gratitude whenever these experiences would happen, even if they happened 20 times in one day, it didn't matter. Every single one of them, I was dropping in so incredibly grateful for. And then what that would do is, because where your attention goes, energy flows, right? So then I was giving that synchronicity energy, and then it would expand that synchronicity. So it would expand the consciousness of that synchronicity, and then I would get an even bigger synchronicity. And then I would have deep, deep gratitude for that synchronicity. And then I would have even greater synchronicity on top of it. And then it just becomes this massive symphony of synchronicities in your life, where every single moment you are being guided. You always know what to do, because you're constantly getting all these confirms and all these synchronicities, because you're expanding the consciousness of synchronicities in your life. And it becomes this stringing symphony that you're just following, all just by putting energy, intention, and gratitude into that one original synchronicity and expanding. See it as like a ball. I know you guys can't see my hands right now, but it's like there's the one point, and then as you feed it, it expands, and then the ball gets bigger and it opens up. And then the next one, you have that same ball, and then you open it up again, and it becomes even bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, till you're stringing along it's a whole symphony. It's like this whole song. Like it's like music of just flowing synchronicities, because you're expanding the consciousness of synchronicities in your life in general. And so then you're always receiving more and greater and bigger and clearer and more profound synchronicities. And that, my God, you guys, is how you receive a miracle. It can literally build up to that. I've experienced it. That's a whole nother episode for itself. Manifesting and creating a miracle with spirit is a whole nother episode in itself. But this is the beginning steps, is to expand the synchronicities, expand the consciousness of those. And as the symphony keeps playing and it keeps getting bigger and bigger, it will turn into a miracle. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you enjoyed that episode. Please subscribe, leave a review. And if this was impactful for you at all, please share it with others. This is how we can help each other. Much love and namaste.